Good morning. Welcome to Natural Science and Health 5. This presentation is aimed to prepare you for your assignment. While completing your assignment, I hope you have a good idea of what the subject is about as you have been studying the subject. Please note that it's not the whole content of the study guide that is or what is in the assignment that is covered under the presentation. But if you encounter some questions that are not discussed in this presentation, feel free to contact the tutor for help, and I'll give the details for which to contact at the end of the presentation. But maybe you are wondering, why should you be doing an assignment? You have this big headache of an assignment. Why you need to do an assignment? The assignments are given to the learners as an assessment tool, which form part of your final marks. If you don't do your assignment, you will not have marks that will form part of your final mark, and you might not even qualify for your examination. Completing the assignment on time means you are following the schedule, and you'll be able to write the examination and finish your studies on time. Assignments are also helping you to prepare for the examination, since the examination questions will follow the similar format to the assignment. So it's more like a mini examination. So if you do it very well, and then you know you are ready for your examination. This is the assessment policy for this module, Natural Science and Health 6. There is a continuous assessment for this module, consisting of one assignment which we are preparing for, and the assignment contains 130 marks. Each student is expected to have a 50% continuous assessment mark, which is coming from your assignment, in order to have an admission to the examination. After you qualified for the examination, the student will write a 3-hour examination paper of 130 marks. You see, the assignment is 130 marks. The examination is also 130 marks. So that means it will follow more or less a similar format. A final pass mark of 50% is required, and this is calculated by 60% of the examination mark and 40% of the continuous assessment mark that is coming from the assignment. But you need to have 50% from the examination in order to pass. Even if you get 80% from the assignment, but you get 30% from the examination, you will still fail. But if you have more than 50% from the examination, then you pass. So you need to study hard for your examination. It's not that when you pass your assignment very well, you don't need to study for your exam anymore. You will need to get at least 50% from the examination. This is just for you to note that the setting and marking of examination papers are moderated. Plagiarism is a very big offense. Assignments are individual tasks. Though you can get help from here and there, you need to do your assignment for yourself, bearing in mind that you are preparing for examination. Copying text from other learners or from other sources is not allowed, but you can quote, you can take a brief from your textbook here, from the internet or from wherever, but you need to acknowledge that. But not just copy and paste. You need to rephrase and you need to acknowledge the source of your information. It's not acceptable to retype existing text, because this most of the time you'll find learners that are just what is in the module, they copy it as it is into the assignment without adding anything. You need to rephrase, reformulate, not just copy and paste. The aim of the assignment is not just for you to reproduce existing material, but is for you to be able to work with the material, understand it, use your own interpretation, do your calculations, and then you know you are ready and you understand what you are studying. It's unacceptable to do somebody else's work. So rather do your own assignment, have someone help you, don't leave them to completely do the assignment for yourself. And when you come to write the examination, then you are struggling and you will fail. It's unfair to you and unfair to the other person. And here we look at answering the questions. Please answer all the questions. If you leave questions blank, you are leaving marks blank. Where will those marks come from? You are setting yourself up for failure. Look for keywords such as list, state, discuss, describe, explain, and so on, and answer the question as it is asked. If you are asked to describe, do describe. Don't just list or mention briefly something. If you are asked to explain, provide an explanation, not a list of things. The essay questions, if you come across an essay question, you must start with an introduction, just like all other essays, a body, and then a conclusion. And do not waste your time and energy adding unnecessary information that was not asked. Sometimes you come across learners that are making the assignment look very nice, adding table of content, lots of other unnecessary information. Just answer the assignment question as it is. You don't need it to make it appealing to the marker, because the marker is concerned with the questions, with the answers that you are giving to the questions, not the appearance or the look of the questions. But you need to be neat. It's not that you have to have your work not neat. Concentrate on answering questions correctly, as this is what will earn you the marks. If you are asked to draw the diagrams, be neat and draw using a sharp pencil. When you are plotting a graph, because in this assignment you might be asked to draw a graph, it's important to choose the scale so that the plots occupy more than half of the graph grid. Not just for you to draw your plot just in one corner of the grid, but you can use the whole graph so that it's also be readable and neat. Careless, rushed graph plotting can lose several marks. You should always use a sharp pencil and plot small, neat, accurately placed crosses or dots. Then draw a thin, neat, thin, best fit line. And then we look at some examples that you can come across in your assignment. And this shows the understanding that is required to answer the question successfully. You must understand the turning effect of a force, which is called the moment. Do the calculation of the moment. You start first with the formula and then you do your calculation. If you are asked to define what is a moment or what is the turning effect, then you have to describe. You must be clear about the names given to the types of energy and use them appropriately. We have many different types of energy: kinetic energy, chemical energy, all sorts of energy. Be clear about these names and use them appropriately. You are also expected to know the circuit symbols required for use in describing electrical circuits. The symbol for a fuse is often not known, and the symbol for a thermistor and a variable resistor are commonly confused with each other. You need also to know how to connect a voltmeter and an ammeter. You know, a voltmeter is always connected in parallel, and ammeter is connected in series. So if you have to draw a voltmeter, you have a sign of a voltmeter, it must always be across something. Let's say this is your variable resistor or any other resistor. So we expect the voltmeter to be in parallel. To be in parallel, especially in the circuit. It's always in parallel. You will never find a voltmeter where it's connected and it's in series. It's in series with the resistor. This is wrong. You can't connect. This is very wrong. You can't connect a voltmeter in series. It must always be in parallel. And then we have an ammeter. If you have an ammeter, this is the symbol for the ammeter, and here you have your circuit. Let's say you have a lamp here. And then your circuit continues. And then your circuit continues. Let's say we have only one battery here. Connecting the ammeter in series, in parallel. This is very wrong. You cannot connect. This is very wrong. The ammeter is always connected in parallel, in series, sorry. So if we have this circuit with one light bulb, we are making a very simple circuit. Only one light bulb, one battery. So we have this lamp or light bulb. Then we can connect our ammeter in series. It's always in series. So this is the correct way of drawing an ammeter in a circuit. And this is the correct way of drawing a voltmeter. It must always be in parallel. So the voltmeter always in parallel. The ammeter always in series. You cannot draw a voltmeter in series and not an ammeter in parallel. This is the basics you must know, that the voltmeter always in series, the ammeter always in series, the voltmeter always in parallel. And then the next one, you must have a clear understanding of electromagnetic induction. For example, you must know that when a magnet is moved in and out of a solenoid, that it is part of a circuit and the current will be induced. It is the movement of the magnet in the solenoid that causes the current as its magnetic field lines cut the coil. So this is, you look at the motor, electric motor. They also operate on this concept of electromagnetic induction. Try to understand this very well. Try to understand the electric motor. You need to draw it. You need to know its component also. And one of the questions that is always being asked, a very popular one, the difference between mass and weight and the calculations involved. You need to know how to calculate the mass. You need to know how to calculate the weight. Sometimes the weight is a force, but you need to know how to calculate it. You must also understand the basic radioactivity, and you should know about the characteristics of different radioactive decay particles. Now, when you come to tackle the questions, if there are 3 marks available for a calculation, 2 of the 3 marks are for showing your work, a mark for the units, the correct units, a mark for the correct formula. So you must always show your work. Be careful how you answer your question. An explanation of some physics, even if it's correct, if it does not answer the question, you will not score any marks. When reading the questions, decide which area of physics you are being asked about. Do not just look at a few words. Try to understand very well, as you may misunderstand the question. For example, a question that mentions heat radiation might not be about radioactivity just because of the word radiation. If you are asked for a convection current diagram, do not draw a circuit just because of the word current. So you need to understand very well where it's coming from and how you should answer these questions. Start your work on the assignment early and keep adding to it every day. Every day you answer a question or two until you finish. You need to search the relevant materials from multiple sources and consult the recommended sources. I understand that there is no modules yet out for this subject, so I advise you any grade 12 physics or physical science textbook will be a great source of information, and it will help you in your assignment, it will help you in your examination. In case you are facing a difficulty in understanding the tasks assigned to complete the assignment or answering questions properly, kindly consult the tutor. And these are the details. That's the phone number and the email. You can even WhatsApp the question, and then we'll see how we can tackle it together. Good luck with your assignment, and thank you.